Daniel leaned against the mirror in his walk-in closet, staring at the endless row of suits and ties. Armani, Gucci, custom-tailored, the kind of wardrobe that screamed power and money. But tonight, he reached past all of it and pulled out a faded gray shirt and worn jeans. His reflection hardly looked like the billionaire CEO who had headlines written about him. And that was the point. The blind date had been set up by an old friend who insisted he needed someone real. Real. Daniel almost laughed at the word. Too many women had smiled at him, not at the man, but at the bank account. Tonight, he would test if someone could see beyond the money. Just as he slipped on his scuffed sneakers, a small voice interrupted. "Daddy, where are you going?" It was Lily, his bright-eyed 7-year-old, her teddy bear tucked under her arm. Liam, her twin brother, peeked around the doorway, grinning. "A date," he teased. "With a lady?" Daniel raised a brow, half amused, half exasperated. "How do you two always know everything?" "Because we're smarter than you," Lily declared proudly, and Liam nodded in agreement. When he told them he was heading to a cafe, their eyes lit up with mischief. "Can we come?" "Please," they begged in unison. Daniel hesitated. Bringing his twins on a blind date sounded absurd, but then again, maybe it wasn't. If the woman couldn't handle his kids, what chance was there for anything real? With a resigned sigh, he tossed his car keys in the air. "Fine. But we're going in the pickup." The twins cheered and raced toward the garage. Daniel followed, sliding into the driver's seat of the old, slightly rusted truck he hadn't driven in years. As the engine rumbled to life, he glanced at his children in the rearview mirror. Their laughter filled the cab, unpolished and pure. For the first time in a long while, Daniel felt a spark of hope. Tonight wasn't about wealth or appearances. Tonight was about truth. The cafe sat on a quiet corner, its windows glowing with soft golden light against the evening sky. Inside, the air smelled of roasted coffee beans and fresh pastries, warm and inviting. Daniel parked the old pickup a block away, ignoring the sleek cars lined along the street. Lily and Liam hopped out first, skipping ahead while he followed, hands shoved in his jean pockets, playing his role of ordinary single dad. Through the glass, he spotted her already waiting, a woman with gentle features, hair pulled into a simple bun, and a dress that wasn't new but carried the kind of grace no brand could buy. She sat with a small notebook, jotting something down, and every so often she glanced toward the door, her expression both hopeful and cautious. When Daniel stepped inside, she looked up. For a brief second, he saw her eyes flicker over his plain clothes, the worn shoes, the twins clinging to his arms. He braced himself for the subtle disappointment he had seen too many times. But instead, her lips curved into a warm smile. "You must be Daniel," she said softly, rising from her chair. Before he could answer, Lily ran up and blurted, "Are you the lady Daddy's dating?" Daniel nearly choked, but Emma laughed, kneeling so she was eye level with the twins. "Well, I suppose I am." "And who might you two be?" "Lily and Liam," they chorused proudly, puffing their chests. Emma shook their little hands as if they were the most important people in the world. Something tightened in Daniel's chest. Most women either ignored his kids or tolerated them. Emma, she was different. They all sat together, and when the waiter came, Emma didn't glance at the menu's pricier items or hesitate with expectation. "Just a cup of tea, please," she said. Daniel ordered coffee, the twins demanded hot chocolate with extra marshmallows, and soon laughter bubbled between them as if this weren't the first time they'd met. Daniel watched her carefully, noting how she leaned in to ask Liam about his favorite superhero, how she listened intently when Lily described her drawing of a castle for Daddy. Emma's eyes never drifted to his watch, his wallet, or even the scratches on his truck keys when he set them down. For the first time in years, Daniel realized he wasn't being measured. He was simply being seen. The little cafe had grown livelier as the evening passed, soft chatter, the clinking of cups, and a faint tune playing from an old record player in the corner. Daniel sat back in his chair, watching Emma through cautious eyes. She wasn't fidgeting, wasn't glancing at her phone, wasn't looking around the room for someone better. She was simply present. "So, Daniel," she began, her hands wrapped around her steaming tea, "what do you do?" He hesitated. The Truth CEO of Carter Enterprises, Billionaire, one of the youngest moguls in the country, sat on the tip of his tongue. But instead, he shrugged lightly. I work in logistics. It's not glamorous, but it keeps food on the table. Emma tilted her head, her gaze lingering on him as though she could see past the words. Yet, instead of pressing, she smiled. That must be a lot, raising these two and working full-time. Daniel blinked. Most women he met would have prodded about money, lifestyle, or benefits. She'd asked about his children. Yeah, he admitted slowly, glancing at Lily and Liam, who were busy drawing stick figures on napkins with crayons the waiter had given them. It's not easy. Some nights, I'm exhausted. But they keep me going. Emma's eyes softened. That's not exhaustion I see when you talk about them. That's pride. Daniel felt something stir inside him, something uncomfortably close to vulnerability. Maybe both, he muttered, trying to mask his smile with a sip of coffee. Emma leaned in slightly, lowering her voice as though she were sharing a secret. You know, kids don't really care about the size of the house or the brand of clothes. They care about whether you show up. And it looks to me like you always do. Her words landed heavier than she could have known. For years, Daniel had wondered if money and success had stolen pieces of him from his children. Yet here was this woman, telling him the opposite, that he was enough. Across the table, Liam suddenly piped up. Daddy is a superhero. He even makes pancakes with chocolate chips. Emma gasped dramatically. A superhero and a chef? That's impressive. Lily giggled, hiding her face behind her napkin drawing, while Daniel rubbed his forehead, embarrassed but secretly glowing. For the first time in a long while, the date didn't feel like an interview or a transaction. It felt real.